Well, good morning, everybody. Again, thank you for having us here and having such a warm welcome to Orlando. But really want to thank Florida Citrus Sports for, again, just putting on a first-class event and taking us in, and the Pop-Tarts Bowl committee, staff, everyone. From the moment we have arrived and the entire process, our players have really enjoyed it, even though we're not here for a real long time. Certainly just the resources, the treatment, the accommodations have been excellent. And again, as mentioned last night, we have the great honor of playing a great football team with a rich tradition, great tradition like Iowa State, led by Coach Campbell. Ton of respect for him and the great job that he's done with his program. And certainly proud of our players, the University of Miami, and always proud about being a Miami Hurricane. And looking forward to a great opportunity and a great game tomorrow.
Good morning, guys. Thank you. Good morning. Mario, conventional wisdom says in this day and age that kids that are going to be projected as first rounders don't play. And every indication from Cam has been that he will play tomorrow. Why do you think he made, it's unfair to ask you to speak for him, but why do you think he made that decision to go one more time with you guys?
Well, I think modern day conventional wisdom sometimes clashes with principles and values of what is right, and nowadays in college football, we are compensated at all levels, right? Coaches, players, administrators, and to do a job, and you must finish the job. I think Cam's DNA, his upbringing, everything that he is made of and stands for is the right kind of stuff, the stuff you want your team made of. He's had a tremendous impact on our community, our team, our program, alumni, and so he understands the importance of finishing, and he understands the caliber of opponent that we're playing and the importance to play at a really high level to give ourselves the best opportunity in this game. So certainly credit to him and the rest of those seniors.
All right, move over here to the left side.
Kind of a similar question for both coaches. Why there's been few, if any, opt-outs. Why do you guys feel like this game is important to finish the season?
Yeah, it's very well put. I would echo the same sentiments. And so important, as much as talent acquisition is really important to building a program and sustaining a program, so is having some really highly, I would say, effective, productive, and committed culture, right? Making sure that, our task is not only to develop great football players and win games, it's also develop young men for what is right and how to do things the right way. And can you imagine telling your own son, hey, you can start this but not finish that? I don't think anyone in this room would approve of that type of a directive. So I think what you're seeing is we had the opportunity to play against a great football team that has great culture. And that's why it's become very important for our players to have not only great practices, but to exhibit great culture, because this is going to be a great football game.
All right, we'll take one down in the front, then we'll go to the aisle over there.
Yeah, Mario, right here. You just kind of got into it talking about the culture there. You've coached against Iowa State before. What comes to mind when you think of Iowa State University?
I think it's a team that first benefits from tremendous coaching, and you see it layered the right way. You see strong senior classes, junior classes, sophomore classes due to retainment and development. That means belief in the program is strong. So systems have been in place for a while, so guys know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it that way. Not only do they have great individual athletes, they play great as a team. They know where their help is. They know where each other is supposed to be, and they're there. And on top of that, they're very, very physical, and they play extremely hard. So you could tell that certainly it means a ton to them.
All right, we're going to take one on the aisle over here, and then we'll move back to Kyle on the left here.
Thanks. This question is for both coaches. I know that Iowa State and Miami are playing for the first time. That's part about bowl games. You get to see opponents play for the first time. Could you see yourself down the line entering a scheduling agreement where these two teams would play like trade one at home and one away or whatever like that, as we saw how important strength of schedule is to try to be able to get into college football playoff? Thank you.
No doubt. I think it obviously be great to look at those particular options, except for, late November up there. Aside from that, I think it would be a great idea.
To you, when you first arrived at Miami, it was kind of seen as a rebuild of its own right, one game away from the playoff. What does that mean in your process and what you brought to the Miami program?
Well, it's been a ton of progress. I mean, I'd been away for a long time, almost a 27-year journey to get back to what was always the end goal. And it was one of those things where, I know I've kind of said it ad nauseum. One day I just woke up and said, I'm tired of watching from afar. I want to be part of the solution, a part of the solution, And so over the last 3 years, there's been a ton of progress. And then, again, a year of a lot of firsts for us as well. I mean, first time Miami's been undefeated at home for a long, long time. Second 10-win season in maybe 20 years. State champions for the first time in a long time. And a lot of things accomplished and a lot more to accomplish. And then most importantly, the establishment of some standards, right? Some benchmarks and some cultural, I would say, goals that won't be compromised. And I think credit to the seniors, credit to the staff for making those things possible. And now we find ourselves with a great opportunity. You have two programs fighting for a historic 11th win, and that means a ton to everybody involved, all programs, fan bases, alumni, everybody. So I think that it can't be emphasized enough, the importance of the postseason, the importance of the approach, the growth and development of programs in the postseason, the experience for players, because I get it, we're all in a hurry to move on in life and be pros and whatnot. You only have a certain amount of time to still be a kid, right? And enjoy the things that come with being, a college football player. And this is the last 36 hours that our guys get to experience that for a lot of guys. So all in all, between the accomplishments of the year, the ability to be in this game, all focus really is on this opportunity. And certainly, again, just an honor to have this shot.
Coaches, fans and critics alike, being the way they are, that line of thinking, consider the season for both your teams a disappointment or a failure in regards to the CFP. But how difficult or discouraging is that for you guys when you consider you won 10 games, both teams won 10 games? Mario, you can go first.
Well, I don't think anything outside of the walls of the program and the people that put in the daily work, as you mentioned the word disappointment. For us, if you don't win every single football game, win every single rep, there's disappointment in the right kind of way, where you build positive anger and you want a better result through process. But in terms of players' effort and accomplishments and progress, there is no disappointment. For us, as hard as we've worked, and mind you, no one wants to win more than the players at our respective programs and the coaches in our respective programs, and no one puts in the amount of time away from family and obligations outside of football. No one puts in more time than what we do. So I think when a question like that is a little bit, it's almost like foreign, like almost undigestible, because those trains of thought are things that don't creep into our processes, our way of thinking. All we think about is finding ways to get better, do right by our people, help these young men grow, develop, and win football games, and continue to make progress in our organization. Mm-hmm.
Is it sad when you hear a bunch of these big name basketball coaches in the last couple of years saying this is not what I signed up for? How do you process the changes and how it's really affected? Mm-hmm. It seems to have a profound effect more on basketball than basketball coaching than maybe other sports.
I think I'm sure we come across a few things that are not likable, borderline detestable, but we love football more than we love the issues that have arisen due to just changes in the game. And there does come as one thing that has stood the test of time: you either adapt or you die, right? So we're in adapt mode, and this period of time, no one knows how long it's going to last, when there's going to be some type of order associated with it. And until then, and hopefully this too shall pass, in terms of just the uncertainty of how to navigate, because there is no handbook. I mean, we all were probably groomed by coaches, and we worked under people that gave us blueprints that we have used to build programs. And now that blueprint is kind of out the door. You have to create a new one that's changing every other week. But honestly, I think you're looking at programs that that don't flinch. So we just go, and I didn't answer your question. I went all over the place with this, but I think you know what I'm saying. It's you go, man. You adapt and you keep going forward. And you know what? You know what's undefeated? Working your butt off and doing right by people. And if you stay along those lines and you're willing to understand that you better have tough staff members because the hours are longer, the days are longer, the off seasons are shorter. Then you know what? You're going to find a way. And hard-working good people have been undefeated over the course of time.
All right, we're going to squeeze in a couple more. We've got basically a line of questions down this left aisle, but we'll start in the back, Fox 35.
Little out of my element here. I usually cover news, not sports, but I've recently been covering the economic impact that these games brings to the community. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts about what this game means for, you think, the city of Orlando, for the money that it brings to the community, to especially the local nonprofits, and also the exposure that it can give to the city.
Well, you know, and not only on top of that as well, not only present impact but future impact. How many families that are here intend to come back because they've had such a great experience, right? And from an economy standpoint, you know, that's always a bonus. It's always a tremendous plus. And I want to reflect on the fact that the impact that the community has had on us. I mean, you have two teams that are going to be competing at the highest level tomorrow on the same field, and yesterday we're in the same theme park, you know, and contributing back and giving back to the community, spending our time with a lot of kids, some underprivileged, you know, some fans, and you know, that's super impactful because it's all tied in together, right? I mean, impact, growth, and development are, you know, reaches the economy, but also reaches the individual. It's transformational. And I think that combination, you know, I think it's been impactful for both community and for our program.
All right, we'll go to the left side, and then we'll go red shirt, and we'll close with the striped shirt up front.
Mario, I know you're sitting next to your opponent for tomorrow, so you're not going to give away anything. But have there been any players in the bowl practices over the last month who have stepped up, guys who've taken that next step?
I think that's what you always see during this time, those extra practices when school's out, right? Because a lot of these freshmen, school and college football, that's a lot. So there's a little bit of paralysis by analysis, just a lot going on in that head, a lot to juggle. And for the first time in their lives. And I think what you see now, you see some guys that have certainly, they have earned the opportunity to play more. They have earned the trust of their teammates and their coaches. To get into specifics would be difficult, you know. But I think it'll be reflected in some of the position groups tomorrow that we watch.
Hey, Mario, this question's for you. But overall, just from a season like this, you know, obviously with individual success from Cam, from X, for example, what moments have you maybe had to reflect on individual players, but also just moments throughout the season like this for the team?
Well, I think reflection will take place after the game. I think someone asked earlier, how do you balance getting ready for a game and a transfer portal and recruiting and all that stuff? And what's the balance? Well, there is no balance. You just kind of got to go. And, you know, whenever you pass out, and you do it again a couple hours later. So in terms of the most important thing, I think, is to really emphasize how appreciative we are for the effort, the commitment of players that have been through a lot. You know, a couple of coaching changes, certainly some ups and downs, injuries, guys that stuck together and put together a really strong team that has accomplished so much and has set a standard and has elevated our program to where now, you know what? Miami is a real thing again. There's national prominence associated with Miami. And now they get to take part in a game against a nationally prominent program like Iowa State. I mean, those things are, you can't put a price tag on that. Those are monumental steps and accomplishments for those guys. So I am forever grateful. Some of those guys will be missed sorely, but like I told them, we already had senior day and all the boohooing and all that stuff. We certainly, you know, days like today are super important as we get refocused once this press conference is over to make sure that we're doing all the right things to give ourselves the best chance for success.